Most people are taught, directly or indirectly, that motivation is something you apply through force. If you want better results, you push harder. You tighten discipline. You remove softness. In the beginning, this approach often appears effective. Output increases. Action happens. Progress looks visible. What's actually happening, though, is not sustainable motivation. It's stress-driven compliance. The nervous system is being mobilized through urgency, fear of falling behind, self-criticism, or comparison. Cortisol and adrenaline step in to provide short-term energy. This is borrowed fuel. It works briefly, but it comes with a hidden cost. When pressure becomes the primary driver, the body starts to associate effort with threat. Instead of movement feeling purposeful, it begins to feel dangerous. The nervous system shifts into protection mode. Focus narrows. Recovery gets deprioritized. Signals like fatigue, resistance, or emotional flatness are ignored or overridden. Over time, the system adapts by pulling the brakes. Motivation doesn't vanish because you're undisciplined. It recedes because the body is trying to prevent further depletion. This is where just push harder backfires. What once produced results now creates friction. Tasks that used to feel neutral or meaningful start to feel heavy. Procrastination increases, and consistency becomes harder, not easier. The problem isn't lack of willpower. It's that the nervous system has learned that striving equals threat. Safety and clarity are the true drivers of motivation. Sustainable motivation begins when the nervous system perceives safety, not comfort, not ease. Safety means the body trusts that effort will not lead to overwhelm, collapse, or internal punishment. In a regulated state, energy can be directed toward growth rather than defense. Clarity is what allows safety to take hold. Vague expectations keep the nervous system on edge. Goals like do better, be more disciplined, or stay consistent create constant background tension because the system doesn't know when it has succeeded or when it can rest. Ambiguity increases cognitive load and fuels self-doubt. Clear structure calms the system. Defined next steps, realistic timelines, and a clear understanding of what enough looks like reduce internal noise. When the brain knows what's required and the body trusts the pace, motivation becomes steadier. Instead of swinging between bursts of intensity and withdrawal, effort becomes more even, more reliable, and far less draining. Safety and clarity together create coherence. In that state, motivation doesn't need to be forced. It becomes a natural response to an environment that feels navigable, rather than hostile. Readiness is what makes motivation last. Readiness is often misunderstood as excitement or confidence. Readiness is quieter than that. It's a state where the nervous system has enough capacity to engage without bracing. There's space to respond rather than react. Effort feels chosen, not imposed. In readiness, motivation is not driven by fear or urgency. It's driven by curiosity, meaning, and a sense of internal permission. You don't need constant self-talk to stay moving. You don't have to threaten yourself with consequences. Action flows because the system isn't busy protecting itself from the process. This is why sustainable change is relational, not confrontational. Motivation strengthens when you listen to your internal signals instead of overriding them. When recovery is treated as a prerequisite for progress, not a reward for burnout. When pacing is intentional and capacity is built gradually, rather than demanded all at once. When safety is established, clarity is present, and readiness is respected. Motivation stops being something you chase or manufacture. It becomes something you can rely on, not because you pushed harder, but because you created the conditions where forward movement actually made sense.